Hello.
How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, good work. I mean, live setting for us. We didn't go live today because we felt our guys felt like they've got enough tackling. We've gone 3 days of tackling, so they felt like they got enough from that perspective. But obviously, that was the definition defensively of you give up a big play, and then you survive and win in the low red zone. That's what good defenses do. Give up a good play, get them down, win in the low red zone, and they did that today. Offense, it was self-destruct. Every drive there was a full start or a low red zone MA, right? And that starts with me. Like when I think mistakes like that, I look at myself and I say, okay, what are we doing wrong? Because at the end of the day, it's our job to get 11 people to do the right thing. And if we're not all on the same page, right, then we got to really take a hard look at ourselves, try to figure that piece out so we can get on the same page. We got 2 weeks to do it. That's a good part. And it's not every play. It's once every 4 to 5 plays. But good offenses are consistent, right? And right now, this is what I said earlier, we're explosive, but our consistency isn't there. And if we want to be a great offense, we're going to be explosive and consistent. Right now, we're explosive, not consistent, right? Which means if our explosive plays don't score, they're going to lead to 3 points over and over and over again.
Do you have an idea about what's contributing to that?
Well, we got some new guys on offense, right? We have way more new guys on offense than we do defense from a skill perspective and all that stuff. So that's kind of normal in camp. It's also normal to make more MAs before a game week because you have the big arsenal of plays. We have a pretty big playbook, so you have all the plays really active. When you get into a game plan and you shrink that thing down and you practice it over and over again, the MAs should shrink pretty drastically. We had a similar first scrimmage last year in the stadium at this day where we just MA'd a good amount. So I think part of that is just shrinking the playbook down. We get into a game plan, which Coach Arroyo does a great job of.
Do you have a realistic number of penalties that's acceptable, or is it more the type of penalty?
Type of penalty, right? Pre-snap penalties, false starts, personal fouls, all that stuff is we can't have, right? You can't have those. If it's a, offensive holding and it's bang bang, or physicality penalty, it is what it is. But definitely pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties can't happen.
Talk about how the biggest thing you want to see today was look in the players' eyes that they were ready for the season.
Yeah, our guys are ready to play. They're a veteran group. They want to play. They're ready. But we still have 2 weeks left. And I think hopefully for us, hopefully our defense is a good defense. And that's why it's hard to go versus them. It's always more worrisome if your offense is scoring tons of points in camp than it is when your defense is playing good defense in camp. I would much rather the defense playing good defense in camp than the reciprocal, in my opinion, just in my history.
What level do you think the pass rush can reach?
I don't know. I think they can be really good. Clayton shot me a photo of him weighing 260 today. They want it. I would say that there's a want to there with that group. There's a real want to, and it shows up. Got pretty much the same offensive tackles, and you can see the chaos they're causing in this camp versus last camp, and that's due to the growth that they've made.
You're setting the veterans and the continuity and all that that's going in the defense's favor. What do you think Sam Levitt can learn from them going against them every day?
We disguise things really well. And sometimes it's easier when you prepare for a game. You shrink your playbook to 65 plays, 60 plays. You're then seeing the same defense in the same formations, and you try to get a rhythm of what they like to do, what their system is. When we're in practice, defense is installing. So you're like, oh crap, this is new. What I just watched the last 3 weeks is new. So it's actually harder, in my opinion, to play quarterback with this type of setting than it is in a game week when you're live. Then you've prepared for all the looks. You may get 1 or 2 new looks, but a team can't show you 7 new looks. Whereas in practice, we're installing, 5 new defenses on a day or 4 new defenses. That's pretty drastic for a team to do going into a game week. So it's a little, I would say, less chaotic on game day than it is in a practice setting.
You said from the beginning that you want your teams to be player-led. How have you seen kind of players getting on each other and holding each other accountable so far through camp?
Yeah, our players, we're a tight football team. You can feel it, you can see it. it's definitely a player-led team. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The question is, where do we lead each other? I think that's the greatest challenge. I've challenged these guys multiple times. I've showed them the stats on, Arizona State when they're ranked top 15, and in the last 50 years, what happened? And it's never good, never. And we're trying to beat history, right? We're not just facing opponents, right? We're facing 50 years of history. And anytime you face 50 years of history, that's not an accident. It's 50 years of history. And that's difficult to overcome. And I try to reiterate to them how hard that is and how this is going to be one of the most challenging tasks they'll ever face, because you're facing 50 years of history. And, they're coming to work every day, and I'm glad I get to coach them.
What specific things are you focused on over the next couple of weeks that maybe are not totally resolved at this point?
One would be, we practice a little better in terms of personal foul penalties. I like to coach aggressiveness and play hard and all that. So sometimes in practice, we let some things go. We had one today, got done. But other than that, I would like to see that. I would like to see penalties decrease pre-snap, and holding penalties on the perimeter, offense and defense. We're getting too grabby outside the framework of our bodies, so we've really emphasized that. And then just executing the call. I think right now on offense and on defense, continue to do what they're doing. I mean, they're playing really well, really good defense right now for the most part, especially with the ones.
Any more clarity at center?
No, I got to go watch the tape tonight. It's not just center, it's really a center guard combo. So when people look at it, it's not like it's just the center, it's what's the best combo but in there. Like I said, we know Ben's going to be there. It's a matter of who that next guy is that's going to be in there.
Is that a positive battle? There's lots of competition, or is it kind of you're nervous that you might have to settle?
Oh no, positive. I like our football team. We got a good football team, and we do. We have a good football team. The best talented football teams don't always win. The teams that don't get penalties, teams that don't turn it over, the teams that just all 11 are executing, and teams that play hard, right? Those are the teams that win. And what I don't want to do is look back and say, man, we would have won this game if blank wouldn't have busted. Because I see that as a coaching error, not a player error. When a player busts a play, I look at that as, well, that's our job to not put too much on that player, and we failed him. So I think that's our challenge, I guess, to answer your question in the next 2 weeks is, what can these guys handle so we can go out there and have 11 guys play as hard as they possibly can for 60 minutes because we are talented.
With defense, you just mentioned playing hard and a lot of guys back. Do you feel that even within Coach Ward's calling it defense, but that they're playing even faster?
Yeah, I mean, we're around the ball more because we understand where to be. I think that's usually what happens. Year one, right, or zero, whatever you want to call it, we didn't have many takeaways, and his defense normally takes the ball away. Well, people aren't around the ball because they don't quite understand the defense to the fullest yet, right? Year two, we get some more takeaways because we're around the ball more, because we're kind of where we're supposed to be, a step ahead. This year, hopefully, we're around the ball just a little bit more than we were last year, being in the system again. And when you're around the ball, you get takeaways. So hopefully that increases our takeaway amount just a little bit more because we're around the ball more. Perfect. Thank you.